If you've watched any of my videos, you know, you know that my videos are not pre-planned, meaning I really don't know what I'm going to make. But I do know this today. Our goal today is to make a 3-strand necklace with a variety of metals, a variety of metallics and finishes, and one of the strands of the 3-strand necklace is going to allow for interchangeable pendants. That's my goal. Can I accomplish it? I have no idea, but we're going to find out. If you're new here, I'm Vicki with Avante Jewelry, and today we're going to make a 3-strand necklace. And I picked up most of these for only 50 cents each at a church rummage sale. So let's set some of these aside, focus on one at a time. How about this one? I like this chain. It's a really, really long chain. It's the longest chain I have out of all of them. So that is going to be our longest chain, and we're going to get this separated. I need 2 tools, and these are just flat nose pliers. One's kind of wide and one is narrow. We just want to take the charms off for now. Will we work these in somewhere? Well, maybe. Who knows? And I always save my jump rings. Set that aside. This is the original clasp, and I probably can make use of that, but let's find out how long this necklace is. Minus the extension chain, let's find out how long the necklace is. So I'm going to put this in the first real link before the extension chain. Because we want to find out, this is going to go outside of the camera right now, but I want to find out how long this chain is. You can see that it runs past 12, so it's about 13 inches long. That's a very long necklace. That is 26 inches. 13 times 2 is 26, but I'm okay with that. And I think this is going to be the one that is the pendant part of the necklace. Let's find some more chain here. This necklace was only 50 cents at a church rummage sale, and it has really pretty gold chain, and then it has a section of vintage beads. I love this, and you can see the metallic beads here too. And I'm not sure that there's a clasp to this. It's so long, I guess one isn't needed. But what if I try to work in one of these sections here and just go with it? Oh, here's the clasp. There it is. It's got a ring clasp. This is how long it is. Look at that. So if we lay this out and we want to make this necklace a little bit shorter than the other one, we said it was 26, and I might shorten that up a little bit later in the video. Let's say that we want this one to be 24 inches long. And that way we can take advantage of these. Let's say we make this one 24 inches long. So we go 12 in length. But that means we need to take it apart right here. Let's do it. Close it up. It's always a little more challenging when it's a twisty type link, because you really got to get a good grip. And it's hard to do when they're twisty. Okay, just wiggling it back and forth. I think I've got it. Basically, so far, I'm working pretty much with what I have. I haven't changed it very much. Not every jewelry project has to be difficult or time-consuming. And that's what I'm hoping this one is for you today, your takeaway to be how you can take a few different necklaces and combine them into one and make something completely unique, one of a kind, that nobody else will have. Wants to slip out of my hand again. Wiggling it back and forth. So there we go. Want to make sure these are the same length. They are. Now we have a 24-inch piece of chain, and we need to put a clasp on the end. Sort of we need to put a clasp on the end. I'll explain. I have these rings, had them for a long time. Bought them at a gem and bead show. We're going to work with these. And I'm going to attach the end of this chain on each side. Remember, we're doing mixed metals, so I'm going to introduce some silver tone in here. And I do want to use a jump ring to connect it. So I told you I saved my jump rings, and I've got quite a variety here. So I'm sure I can find some gold ones in here. Okay, I think those will work. Let's take the last link of the chain and attach it to this ring. This is basically a closed jump ring, meaning there's no cut in it. I cannot open and close this ring. I can only attach to it. Do the same thing here. Take the last link and attach it here. Seems crazy, right? But you'll see. You'll see. I do have some foresight of what I'm trying to do. I just don't know what the finished product is going to look like yet. So we have this chain. Hard to get all of this in camera. Oh, I can zoom out a little bit there, but you see all of the mess on my table, but so be it today. I've got a lot of things I'm working with. I pulled out a lot of bags and a lot of jewelry. This is what it really looks like when you're designing jewelry. I do want this to be the longest chain, but now I'm wondering, it is slightly longer here. I didn't want it to be excessively longer, just some. So let's introduce another color. What should we do? I'm thinking silver, and I think I'll introduce some bright silver for that metallic shine. And this is brand new chain. These are vintage, and this is more modern. This is new chain. The shiny gold is 12. The bronzy color is 13. So I really should cut this off to 10, because the whole idea is to make a long necklace, a long multi-strand necklace. If you like this video, give it a like, comment, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe. Close it up, and I need a couple of jump rings for this. And I found 2 that I can use. Now notice I haven't connected this one yet. There's a reason why. Let's set it aside. This one is going to the inside of the gold, so I'm going to choose what I think is the inside part here and close this up. So let's lay this out so that this, lays how I want it. You see the silver chain is to the inside of the gold. Therefore, I want this end, which I'm going to run my hand through it to make sure it's straight as can be, and then bring it back up. I don't know if this is getting twisted on me there. Straightening that up and connect it to the last link of the silver chain to the inside of the gold chain. Close it up, wiggle it a little bit if you need to get it nice and closed. In fact, I'm just going to fix this one. It didn't close as tight as I wanted it to. So we have shiny silver, we have vintage gold with these really cool vintage embellishments here. And then we have this chain, which we decided was going to be our longest chain on the outside. Hope you can see all of that. So why didn't I go ahead and attach this already? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm going to take advantage of using a lobster clasp to attach it. But I only have one. I only have one lobster clasp like this. But I do have some others in the same finish. So let's go ahead and remove this one. I'll keep the jump ring that's on it, but I'm going to change out the lobster clasp so that they're both the same. Close that up. I am taking the extension chain off. It's not going to be used in this project. I will save it. And I'm going to attach a second lobster clasp. So one on each end of the longest chain. Why am I doing that? Because I want to attach the lobster clasp to this closed jump ring on the outside. See what I've done there? 2 are attached with jump rings, but this one, the antique bronze, is attached with a lobster clasp. Same thing here, lobster clasp, attaching it to, always make sure they open. Make sure it opens and closes okay. Sometimes they don't. That one is attached with the lobster clasp. And it looks like I could have gone longer with this silver chain. Or I could attach a charm here. I could. Let's set this aside so you can see what I'm working with here. This is the charm dangle that I took off of the longest chain. I have a heart, a flower, little rhinestones, and a few plastic crystals, and a tassel. I think I'm going to use the flower because I like the shininess of the rhinestones with the silver chain. So let's take that off. I'm going to reuse the jump ring. It is important that we find the exact center. Hopefully I have a center point, and hook this too. I hope I have this facing the right way. I could add another jump ring in addition to this one, but all right, we've got it here. Zooming out again so you can see here the whole length of the necklace. So I brought the outer color of this antique bronze into the center and picked up the shiny silver metallic chain with the rhinestones. Before we get into making any special pendants for this, let's finish the clasp for the necklace itself. And before we can do that, chains are moving all over the place. So before we can do that, we need to line up so that the dark antique bronze is on the outside. And what happened here, because there's no clasp on here yet, the chains are slipping around on each other. So I'm trying to bring everything back into alignment where I have the bronze on the outside. Just takes a little bit of patience, not too much, just a little bit of patience. And if you need to, just unhook the bronze or your longest part of the necklace, unhook it if it makes it easier. I think it will in this case. This is what we have. Silver on the inside, silver plated I think it is, the gold, and then the bronze on the outside. So attach the lobster clasp to the ring on the longest chain. And I've picked out this clasp, this hook clasp, and it comes with a little ring. We're going to attach this. I'm going to put the hook on the right-hand side and the ring on the other side. So we need to attach that. Go on fishing in my jump ring bowl. And I do have jump rings organized in containers, but I try to use these up first. I'm using a fairly large jump ring. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should use a smaller one. I've decided to change to a smaller one, and I need 2 of those. Open the jump ring, pushing forward, pushing back. Let's go ahead and put it through this ring and then through the hook. Close it up. This is the ring that we want to connect to here. For the hook to go through, I want to have a separate ring, jump ring. If for no other reason than to keep these from moving around and getting tangled on each other, that separate ring is going to help prevent that. So this is what we have for our clasp. This is a shepherd's hook, and that's how we're going to connect it. So now, if this gets all jumbled up, these jump rings being attached here will keep these from moving around. They're stationary as far as the order of how they fall. So the main thing when you put it on is to keep in mind what side you want the charm to be, and I want that to be the front. I could have put this hook so it faces out. I'm going to turn this hook around. I want it facing away from the neck, not towards. Matter of personal preference. So this is what we have so far. And I said I wanted to make an interchangeable charm. Where am I going to put that charm? Well, we're going to put it on the longest length of chain. And I want a bail that's large enough in the center to be able to slip the lobster clasp through so that I can take it on or off. See what I'm doing here? I'm going to hook this back. Now I have a bail on the end, a bail to which I can attach a pendant. So we have this with all the various charms attached to some chain. So I'm going to take some of these off, at least the largest ones. Let's go with this leaf. Leaf has a couple of things attached to it. I decided not to use this in this project, so I'm going to finally set this aside. I'm finally getting this leaf off of here. And as you can see, I have a little ring here that I can attach the leaf to. So I'm using the same original jump ring to attach it to the chain. Watch all the way to the end because I have a bead box that I'm listing on eBay. And I filled it with some vintage to fashion jewelry. And it's going to be available for sale. At the end of the video, I'll reveal a little closer what's in here. I'm finding this leaf quite lonely. I think it needs something else. So I've been playing around here looking at different options. But I have this charm necklace that has butterflies on it and has a little leaf. So I'm going to take a couple of leaves off of here. I just feel like it needs something. And since it is a leaf, I'm going to take at least 1 or 2 leaves off of here. See if I can work those in somehow. It's actually quite easy to find charm necklaces in the thrift stores right now and at church rummage sales. And when you find jewelry, vintage jewelry, modern jewelry, fashion jewelry, look at it for its components. So I'm going to put it on the front of the jump ring that's attaching the large leaf. I'm not sure if I need 1 or 2. Maybe it's too much to have 2 the same. Maybe I need something else. I still have these components here. Let's take the clear crystal off of here because the purple locks you into a certain color for what you're wearing, but the clear crystal does not. It's just plastic. Putting it through the jump ring that is attaching the leaf. At least it doesn't look so lonely anymore. So let's make another one, another pendant. This came apart as I was working with it, but do you remember this from one of my projects? It was the aventurine necklace, and it had this Dalmatian jasper stone. This was actually attached to here. I'm thinking this could be an interesting pendant for here as well. And I do need to have a bail for it, and I don't have any gold bails, but I can attach this to here, and we can change this pendant out to be the jasper stone. Do we need anything else with it? Well, I have this large loop, but I really didn't want to use it, and I think it can stand alone. I don't think it needs any other embellishment, but you most certainly can play around with what you have. So in case I wasn't clear with this project, the goal was to make a multi-strand necklace with one of the strands, the largest strand, to be utilized as an interchangeable strand for a pendant, whether it be something like this combination here, or taking this off and adding something as simple as a stone. It's truly endless what you can do with this idea of a 3-strand necklace with a lobster clasp on each end of the longest chain, preferably the outside chain of the 3 that you're using, and making pendants from stones or charms or any component that you would like, with the flexibility of interchanging the pendant with the necklace for a completely different look. After trying this on, I decided this needs to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to shorten this up just a little bit. And I think I'm going to shorten it up about 1.5 inches. It's a nice thing about linked chain. It's very easy to change your mind, change it out. So I'm just going to close this up. Remove the lobster clasp. Save the chain. Let's go check it now. Put this back on our ring. You could wear your longest chain by itself. You can wear 2 chains together, or you could wear 1 chain at a time, just by adding lobster clasps to the end, or with all 3 chains. It's truly endless what you can do by changing out your chain, your components, your charms, your pendants. It's endless what you can do with this idea. For those of you who stayed with me throughout this video, well, it's time to see what's in this first bead box that I've put together. We have some neutral beads, light cream, light ivory, some medium-sized aqua beads, and these are vintage and they are plastic. This is a ceramic bead, some chunkier beads, carved looking beads, pearl strand to take apart, and a variety of colors here. These are not real pearls. Some earth tones, an assortment of pewter beads and findings, some spacer beads too. Again, vintage. I took apart some vintage necklaces. And then this vintage necklace, and this vintage necklace that you get to take apart. It has some linked faux pearls, chain, some vintage aqua plastic beads, crazy looking tassel, and this more modern fashion jewelry necklace that you can take apart and see what you can come up with. And if you purchase this lot of beads, I invite you to send me photos of your finished items to Avante Avenue, yes, Avante Avenue, at gmail.com. Send me photos of what you've made with these, and I'll put the link for our email address below this video. So there's a little starter kit for you, and in the description below this video, there'll be a link for Avante Jewelry.